Hello, everyone. This is Adam from the Adam Ferns Archives. I know it's been a while. I apologize for that. Had some issues going on that I had to deal with, but I'm back 6 months later. Maybe more. I'm sorry, but I'm back. So, happy days, hopefully. And I'm finally continuing on with Battle of the Beasts Round 3 of the All Generation Tournament. This has been a long time coming, but I'm now getting back into doing that, and hopefully at some point I can get the Series 31 review out on Beast Quest before Series 32 gets released. Um, yeah. So, update on the Beast Quest books. Series 32's covers have been released. They look cool. Series 33 has been confirmed. Maybe Series 34 as well. And Series 31's been fully out for a while now, during the time I wasn't uploading. And I still haven't read book 2. I read book 1. Might need to reread it because I don't remember anything from it, but yeah. But anyway, this not about that. This is about Battle of the Beasts. So we're kicking off round 3 with what I think is quite a good matchup of two beasts, which honestly I wanted both of them to go further, but unfortunately only one of them is now, and I think I know which one. Yay. Okay, so representing Series 6, the World of Chaos. I've not read these books in a while. I've not really thought about Beast Quest for a while, so I'm going to need to constantly check books on the titles of the characters, the names of the seasons, and so on and so forth. But representing Series 6, The World of Chaos. Book number 4, the... I'm not even going to say the killers of who in each round, because that's just going to take up more time. But representing Series 6, it is Murk the Swamp Man. And representing Series 17, Murk's opponent, book number 1, Gryph the Feathered Fiend. So both of these books I do like. Well, Beasts I like now. Book-wise, they're both alright, but I'm more of a Beast guy and they're both great. As for who I think will win, well, I can't say that because I'll be biased, so I'm not going to say that. But we're going to get into the stats now, with the usual way of how I do the stats. So with that, let's get to them. Starting with Murk, the swamp man lurks in the boggy Chaonian marshlands. Murk's body is made of mud and decaying plants, and his scalp bristles with flame. He waits beneath the surface of the dark waters, snatching any poor creature unfortunate enough to become stuck in the algae-filled sludge. Soon, only their bones remain. Special facts: Murk's power is reduced on dry land away from the mud of the swamp. That's a weakness. Uh, Additional stats: age 271, power 212, magic level 181, fright factor 87, and size 241. And powers and abilities include hypnotism, swamp manipulation, size increase, mud manipulation, earthquake generation, fire hair, and non-physical body. The swamp manipulation means Murk can control the water of the swamp to bring foes towards him. And the mud manipulation means he can fire mud from his hands at his enemies. I don't think I need to explain what the other abilities do. The hypnotism only works though when his opponents are in his swamp. So, okay. Weaknesses are body hardening and vine removal. Don't think I need to explain that, but the body hardens when he's away from his swamp, which is said in the book. So, anyway, moving on to Gryph now. In the borderlands of Gwildor are 4 beasts charged with the duty of protecting the Broken Star, a magical amulet of immense power. Beasts like this giant bird, her wings tipped with crystal blades who stop at nothing to keep it out of the hands of evildoers. Age 460, power 244, magic level 174, Fright factor 90, size 262. Wow. I thought Murk was going to be bigger than Gryph, but apparently not. That's it for the book. Powers and abilities for Gryph is flight. Don't need to explain that one. Natural weaponry. Don't need to explain that one. Ice breath. Enhanced speed. And cold immunity. Weaknesses are flammable feathers. Oh, I don't think I need to explain anything about that. So, with that, I now need to think of a terrain for these two to fight, and I think did I do it for this one or the next one? Next round. This round or the next round? I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to, for this round, do the traditional route and just pick places around the Beast Quest world for these two to fight. And I think it would make the most sense if... I'm trying to think geographically here, because like where Gryph is, yeah, she protects the Broken Star, so it makes sense for Murk to go over there to try and take the Broken Star, but then he's away from the swamp, so what would Murk need to do with a Broken Star, especially one that creates blizzards? So I don't know. I don't think this far ahead. I'm gonna put it along the lines of they're in Murk's swamp. Gryph just happens to be flying above, and Murk gets hostile. Yeah, that makes sense. So with that, let's get into this. So as we close your eyes and let me weave you a tale of this fight, we see Murk Swamp in Chaonia. Nothing interesting seems to be happening there. Who cares? It's a swamp. Unless it's Shrek, and then I'll stop by and visit, but no Shrek. Gryph is flying over the land of Chaonia to get back to Gwildor for because he filled out an important quest very far away from where she's stationed, but I don't know. Murk, lurking in the swamp, spots Gryph and decides that this can be a great opportunity to eliminate one of his opponents, one of his foes in this tournament, because they went back to that. Yes, that's it. They went back to their home place after fighting their round in the tournament, and Murk decides to play a bit evil and decides to take care of one of his opponents now. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. Just ignore that Gwildor's quite close to Abantia. Ignore that. I did not think this far ahead. So Murk conjures up a mud ball and chucks it towards Gryph, narrowly missing the bird. Gryph sees it and stops in her tracks as the mud ball just flies right past her. She looks down to the barren swamp and just doesn't see Murk, but sees a pile of fire. Thinks something's not adding up, right? So she just shoots a beam of ice at the fire to try and extinguish it. Murk sees that coming and moves under the swamp quite quickly, might I add. Just getting out of the way of the ice beam. He then uses his hypnotism to just make Gryph stop attacking him and draw her close in a hypnotic trance. Once Gryph is close enough, Murk grabs onto her chest and slams her into the mud. It's at this point Gryph snaps out of the trance, because hypnotism, you can control someone to walk like a chicken or bark like a dog, but you can't hypnotize them to death. When they start getting hurt, they get knocked out of the trance. Thank you, Doctor Who. Gryph immediately bolts into action. While still being pinned down, she folds her wings forward to try and stab at Murk's arm, but her blades seem to have gone right through Murk. Gone to right through Murk. At first confused by this, withdraws her wings and starts trying to push herself up with her wings and her talons. Murk's overall strength causing pulling more water, swamp water into himself, building himself up to be more bulky. It's just pushing Gryph further down into the swamp. Gryph is just barely keeping her head up and decides to shoot an ice beam directly at Murk's arm, causing it to harden very quickly, in which Gryph immediately lifts up one of her wings and slices right at the hard bit of Murk's sludge before it can soften up again. That seems to have does the trick and shatters Murk's arm, giving Gryph time to get out of there. So, yeah. Murk, in annoyance, is able to manipulate the swamp to regrow his arm, and then instantly chucks multiple mud balls directly towards Gryph. Gryph is agilely dodging all of them. While she's dodging them, she doesn't seem to realise that Murk's no longer behind her, but instead in front of her. Yes, swamp manipulation. He pulled her closer to him without her noticing. This is confusing. He pulled her closer to him without her noticing, in the form of distraction, but also, hey, like, she's in the swamp, it's his world, and Gryph is living in it now. Gryph, understandably confused by this, gets startled at the fact, and in that time, Murk is able to grab Gryph by her wings and force her wings into her chest. So Gryph has just been supported by Murk's overall hand compression here. Gryph shoots an ice beam directly at Murk's head, however, and then tries to headbutt it as it's hardened, but not seem to be working this time. Murk lets his vines wrap around Gryph whilst he releases his grip off her, and then using his vines, he controls it to just seep back into the swamp. Gryph can feel herself starting to submerge under the swamp, and Murk is just giving a sudden laugh whilst also punching Gryph as hard as he can, just knocking the bird around. Gryph is resilient though and continues shooting ice beam at the hardened rock at Murk to make his soft body hard. That just sounds wrong. Jesus. While she's distracting Murk with that, preventing him from using his mind to pull Gryph under, she's trying to use her talons to cut through the vines without Murk noticing. And then once she has her wings free, she lifts them up and slices right at Murk's face, which has been hardened, causing gashes to appear all over the face. Not shatter, but gashes over the hardened part. She's able to get away, but instead of actually retreating, what she does, she continues to shoot an ice beam directly at Murk, causing his whole body to start hardening up. And then she then goes back a bit and then charges full force into Murk, going right through his chest. It works. Murk gets shattered and collapses to the ground. But we're still in Murk's world. Murk is able to rebuild himself out of the freshly wet sludge. Gryph, very confused by this, is stunned by such a resilient beast. She then gets the bright idea that she should shoot an ice beam directly at the water in the swamp, freezing that all over. And that's exactly what she does. She freezes the swamp over, turning the water into ice. And Murk, not still being in the swamp, has the power still, but not the manipulation of being able to build himself up. So Murk now has a problem. And Gryph decides to test her theory if this will work by shooting an ice beam at Murk's hand, one of Murk's hands, and freezing it over. Murk, meanwhile, is shooting mud balls from his free hand to try and stop Gryph, but none of which seems to be working. Gryph seems to have this kind of experience to dodge but also attack at the same time. Well done, Gryph! Gryph then swoops down and pile drive. Well, not really pile drives, but what's the word? Beelines straight into Murk's hardened hand. It shatters completely. Murk then takes Gryph then takes a safe distance back, just watching, see if Murk can regrow that hand, and it doesn't seem like it's regrowing. Murk is confused by this because he can't regrow his hand, and out of anger, he tries to hypnotize Gryph. But Gryph doesn't seem to be in this trance, almost like she's still in that fight mode. Or flight mode. Jesus Christ, that was a bad joke, but I found that kind of funny. And Gryph then realizes, so you're trying to mess with the tournament rules? You're going to try and take me out when we're not officially in the arena? Well, you got another thing coming for you. She shoots an ice beam directly at Murk's head, freezing it all over, extinguishing the flame. And at this point, the entirety of Murk has suddenly gone hard and stiff, still able to move, but quite slowly. Gryph then gets tons of distance and then makes a hypotenuse angle descent. Yeah, like that. What the hell? Towards Murk. And she shatters right through Murk's head and chest, shattering Murk to pieces. Meanwhile, the ice in the swamp is still there, so no water. And Gryph just stays around, perched on a nearby tree, just listening for any sign of movement. But she can't seem to hear anything. When Gryph is content with what is absolute silence, she takes off on the tree and makes her way back to her domain in the Gwyldorian borderlands. With that, Gryph has won, Murk has lost, and if I'm being completely honest, I thought Murk was going to win this one. Yeah, that's the end of the fight. I don't know. Oh god, okay, I see why I enjoy doing these now, because of the absolute nonsense that comes out of my mouth can be hilarious at times. Because these battles are not scripted, and this is one of the most unscripted battles I've ever done. But I think this does make sense, because on a face value, bear in mind Murk's victories in the past, you would have expect Murk to win. Bear in mind, Gryph in the New Generation tournament won round 1, died in round 2. Murk in the Old Generation tournament did die in round 2, I think. But Murk in this tournament has been established to be quite a strong, hard to beat figure. So I think battling Gryph, Murk was expected to win. But then when you take science into this, now Gryph's going to win. Because Murk is in a swamp, which is fine. What do you see in swamps? Water and plant life. Okay. Gryph is able to freeze the water with her ice powers, which prevented Murk from building up in the swamp waters to be more bulky and stronger. But that also stops her hypnotism. Because whilst we were still in Murk's world, the swamp's been taken over. And the hypnotism has to do with something from that water. Same with the mud manipulation, but that, I would argue, actually comes from his body himself, so he just gets ever so slightly smaller every time he throws a mud ball. So I left that alone. So that's why his hypnotism didn't work. Same with his regeneration. As for the vines not working anymore, well, you look at the weather when it's in winter. What happens to the plant life? What happens to the trees? They die. They lose their leaves and they don't grow any leaves until it gets warmer. Well, I got news for you. We went from Murk's world to Gryph's world because Gryph manipulated the environment. And with a beast that is of that experience with age, I would assume Gryph knows a thing or two about changing the environments to her standards. To make things better for her. And that's why I gave Gryph the victory. Not on a very big assumption, but it's also because of how I manipulate. No, no. It's how I said the battle. I do a one take wonder on every battle I do, and if I word it out in a way where Gryph happened to have won, then that's how it happens and Gryph wins. But if you think Murk should have won, please in comments below why you think that. I will probably agree, but ultimately, Gryph is the one moving to round 4. And I understand I've been gone for a while, so I understand if some of you guys are mad about that, which is fine. But if you guys are mad because I had Gryph win over Murk, please don't be. This is just how I narrated it. I am aware I prefer Gryph more than Murk. But beast-wise, they're both fantastic. So don't think it was an easy choice for me. It really wasn't. But most of the time, I can see the outcome of a battle, and sometimes I get caught off guard by the outcome being the opposite of what I thought it would be. Like I said, I thought Murk was going to win. So, very shocked that Gryph won. But I'm not mad about it at all, because I think the way that Gryph won makes total sense. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry. But that's just how it goes. But with that, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down the corner below, and I'll see you next time.